I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Is Taehyung really ready to leave BTS behind and challenge HYBE's dominance? K-pop Update will reveal the dark side that has been hidden all this time, the tension between BTS's visual and his own agency. Behind his charming smile lies a story you never imagined. Behind the glitz of the stage and the loving gazes of ARMY, a much deeper story is unfolding quietly. Taehyung, or VBTS, has always been known as a colorful, expressive, and artistic figure. But who would have thought that behind the smile he always shows in public, there is a burden that seems to be getting too heavy for him to carry alone? Lately, the signs have become increasingly clear, not only in the way he speaks or chooses his words, but also in the small steps he takes, which, when examined more closely, point to one thing: a struggle for personal freedom. Yes, Taehyung is slowly revealing the side of himself that has been carefully concealed by the tightly structured entertainment industry system. And at the center of it all is HYBE, the major agency that nurtured BTS into a global legend. For years, Taehyung's relationship with HYBE seemed harmonious. But lately, observant fans have begun to notice a crack. A small crack that is slowly widening into a communication chasm. Taehyung is increasingly sharing personal content, not just group promotions, but reflections of himself. These posts are no longer tied to the image of the perfect idol, but rather to the human being named Kim Taehyung, who is searching for his true self. Many are wondering, is this just a phase? Or is it a sign that he is preparing to take a different path from what the agency has set? HYBE is not sitting idly by. As the agency that has shaped and managed BTS's career from the start, they are aware that the new direction Taehyung is taking could risk the group's balance. However, on the other hand, restraining Taehyung from self-expression and artistic exploration could lead to deeper fractures. This is not just about songs or projects, but about identity. Some reports suggest there is tension in discussions between Taehyung's camp and HYBE regarding the direction of his career moving forward. Though no official statement has been made, the public is beginning to speculate. Does HYBE feel threatened by the freedom Taehyung is starting to show? The fact that Taehyung is becoming increasingly bold in expressing himself independently has led many fans to believe he is preparing something. Whether it's a major solo project or an even bigger decision, perhaps one day, to step out of the system's shadow and stand as an independent artist. And if that's the case, the question is, will HYBE support him or oppose him? Many ARMY members are beginning to realize that Taehyung is undergoing a transformation, not only in his work, but also in his soul as an artist. He no longer just wants to be part of the system, but to create his own system. A space where he can create without boundaries, expressing his true feelings without always having to consider image or branding. Of course, this raises concerns. Not because ARMY doesn't support him, but because they know that such a major decision could have a significant impact on BTS's future. But precisely because of that love, many fans choose to stand by Taehyung, whatever steps he takes. What we are witnessing is not just a conflict between an artist and an agency. It is a reflection of the major changes taking place in the entertainment industry. A new era where artists are no longer just the face of an industry's products, but the owners of their own voices. And Taehyung, with all his courage, seems to be the symbol of this movement. HYBE may be able to control contracts, schedules, and business strategies. But one thing they can't fully control is an artist's desire for freedom. Taehyung has never looked braver than he does now. And in every step he takes, we can feel that he is not just walking as an idol, but as someone rewriting his own future. Will HYBE adapt and give space for the personal freedom of its artists? Or will they stick to the old ways that prioritize control over creativity? This is a big question with no clear answer yet. But one thing is clear, Taehyung is not alone. He is supported by millions of hearts that believe in him. And when an artist is given the space to be themselves, what emerges is not just art, but change. Change that might shake up the K-pop landscape we've come to know. However, the further Taehyung goes, the more unanswered questions arise, both from fans and the media. Many are asking, if there really is tension, why does everything still seem fine on the surface? Why does HYBE continue to portray a harmonious relationship with Taehyung, while signs of discord begin to emerge from various directions? The key to it all may lie in one word: control. In the world of K-pop, agencies are not just managers. They are the architects of the idols' lives, from their morning schedules to the content they are allowed to post on social media. And behind BTS's global success lies a highly stringent control system that has never been openly questioned. However, Taehyung, with all his gentleness and intelligence, seems to be the first to dare to question everything. He has never made controversial statements. He has not directly challenged the system. But through every personal post, every solo song he chooses to release, every small gesture in an interview, Taehyung seems to be saying, "I want to be heard not just as an idol, but as a human being." And perhaps that is where the real conflict lies. HYBE, which has invested everything to maintain BTS's image as a perfect unit, now faces a major dilemma. Will they support the personal and artistic growth of each member, or maintain control to preserve brand consistency? Currently, the public is beginning to notice that the imbalance is becoming increasingly evident. Taehyung is appearing more frequently in personal projects, involved in collaborations not always announced by HYBE, and showing interest in the world of acting and visual arts. He even seems more comfortable outside the larger BTS narrative. Not because he's distancing himself, but because he's growing. And that growth doesn't always align with the agency's plans. Meanwhile, ARMY fans are divided into two camps: those who want BTS to remain intact in the same format, and those who fully support each member's exploration, including Taehyung. But one thing is certain: everyone cares. Because they know that whatever happens in the future will be a turning point not only for Taehyung but for the future of BTS as a whole. If Taehyung is indeed forging a new path, the question is no longer whether he will leave the system, but whether the system is ready to change to accommodate someone like Taehyung. And behind the scenes, HYBE may be working hard to adapt. Because one thing they cannot ignore is the fact that Taehyung is not just a business asset. He is a symbol of change, an icon of his generation, and the voice of something far greater than the entertainment world alone. Imagine if Taehyung's move succeeds. If he can stand on his own work, inspiring millions without having to abandon BTS's identity, what will emerge isn't just a successful solo career, but a new chapter in K-pop history, where individuality is no longer seen as a threat, but as a strength. But the path to that point isn't easy. There will be pressure. There will be controversy. There will be fear from those accustomed to the old system. Yet, as history always records, change never comes from those who remain silent. It comes from people like Taehyung, who dare to question, dare to take steps, and dare to be themselves. And perhaps, in its silence, HYBE is beginning to realize one important thing: that the future is not about preserving what already exists, but about creating space for those who want to grow beyond the shadows that once shaped them. This is not the end of BTS. It may be the beginning of a new phase. A phase where each member begins to build a stronger identity as an individual, without losing the bond they share as a family. And for Taehyung, this is his time. The time to prove that he is more than just the visual of a boy band, that he is an artist, a dreamer, and a voice of change that can no longer be silenced. K-pop Update will continue to follow every step of this journey, because this story is far from over. In fact, it might just be the beginning of something much bigger.